transaction details are still being copied manually from receipts, from invoices, from contracts, manually into Excel files. Salient details like amounts, description of goods, the dates of the transactions, you still have accountants and financial experts still reviewing these documents manually and entering these details manually into Excel sheets. Come on, guys. It's the age of AI. We can't do better. With state of the art optical character recognition models like Chandra OCR from Data Lab, and then powerful large language models that are capable of understanding text like Claude Opus 4.5, GPT 5.2, Gemini 3. You just combine both of this and you are able to have a system that is capable of automating this particular workflow, and that's just what LocaLens does. Now let's get into it. LocaLens is, just as you can see, transform documents into structured data. That is all that there is to it, and you can see that the priority is for privacy, preserving privacy. We try as much as possible to ensure that all of your sensitive data sits on your system, which is the reason why this system is deployed using Olama, and then you have Chandra OCR, which you are capable of hosting if you have the required compute, which is pretty cheap these days with Nvidia's Jetson kit. You can grab that for $248 and you are able to deploy this OCR model easily on premises or within your organization without having to make any API calls. You can also host it within a virtual private container on any of the many web services, web hosting services that are out there. I love to use AWS. You can easily host it on there. So let's look at what LocaLens does. It is built privacy first, processes your documents in batches. So you have a huge amount of, let's say, receipts that you need to review and take out all of the amounts as well as the vendor names, the line description of each item, the quantity, and all of that. You can gather all of those receipts, put them into a zip folder, upload it to LocaLens, and it does all of the processing. You basically just describe what you want to extract and it does that. It uses natural language queries. For instance, if you say, I want the date, I want the vendor name, and I want the amount from these receipts, and that is what you get in a clean CSV. So the architecture is basically, on the front end, we're using Streamlit with a real-time dashboard, and then you can get your CSV at the end of the day to download. To persist the state, this is a bit technical, however, we're using SQLite and the job queue to manage the state. And then processing, we have different workers. We have a PDF. Of course, we normalize all documents. We don't even need you to worry about if your document is in PDF format, whether it's image or whether it's a document file. We don't care. Just zip everything up together as long as it's basically the same class of document. If you're dealing with receipts, zip all receipts together. If you're dealing with contracts, zip all contracts together. If you're dealing with invoices, zip all invoices together and upload to your LocaLens local instance, and you can get it processed. So we use Chandra OCR to look at each of the documents, and then whatever we see, we give to Olama, and Olama does the processing and gives us back a CSV file that we can download, right? So without further ado, let's go to LocaLens. So this is the interface right here. Pretty simple and easy for anyone to follow. So you basically describe the data that you want to find. If you want the date, you want the total amount, you want vendor name, whatever it is that you want, type it in here. So in this case, we're going to say get invoice date, the vendor name, the invoice number, and then the total amount. So I'm going to upload a file in there. So I have this file here. It's a document. It's a zip folder containing quotes for different services. And once I've uploaded this, I've also described what I want here. That I'm telling the system to get me the invoice date, the vendor name, the invoice number, and total amount. That's what I want. And these are all the invoices or quotes, as I call them here, which I've uploaded. And then I'll click the start extraction pipeline. and then it tells me that, okay, it saw 3 files in there and the 3 of them are pending. So we'll have a neat dashboard here to tell us what's going on. So I'll click on process documents with local LLM, and we wait and see how it goes. So it's processing the documents and it's telling us to wait. So let's wait and see what happens. So we are still processing. Let's wait and see. So we have 3 documents sending to calling the Chandra OCR API to get us back the markdown. The markdown is then sent to Olama. Olama parses and executes our query and gets us the data that we need. So boom, what have we got? Let me move my head a bit away from here. So this is the extracted data from the 3 documents. You see that three of them are complete. This is the file name of each of those files for you to be able to trace back if you need to figure out which file what data came from. So this is the invoice date, this is the vendor name. There's no invoice number, it couldn't find it, but we can see the total amount here for each of these line items, and then you can click on download CSV, export, and you have a pop-up for you to save that CSV right here. So it saves LocaLens results with the timestamp. You can name it whatever you want, but that is the workflow. So that is LocaLens. If you want this solution for your organization, look down in the notes. I will leave a link there. You can click, sign up, and then we get it running for you. So if you want to turn messy documents into structured data without wasting copious amounts of hours, LocaLens is that solution for you. So click the link in the description and let's get started and get your organization running on LocaLens.